Hey everyone, welcome back. So we got the Suzuki SX4 from the World Rally Championship of 2008, and this is the one that raced in Monte Carlo apparently. I don't know too much about the SX4, so I read up on it, and it turns out that it's a compact class crossover developed with Fiat. So Suzuki and Fiat, I guess, share this platform. I could be wrong there. But this is a first generation one that came out in 2006, and at least in China it sold up until 2018. There is a second generation out that looks a little sleeker, I guess, or different than this. Not sure if I mentioned, this is made by CM's Models. They're an extinct diecast brand, but they they made a lot of cool rally cars, though. I like them. That looks like the photograph. It, it, it looks spot on, right? Wow, amazing. Okay. This back view is a different driver, but the car, I think, should be quite similar. Alright. Let's get a couple views there. Alright, so the SX4 name is an acronym for Sports X over 4 all seasons. So S for sports, X for crossover, and then 4 for the 4 seasons of the year. That's what's coming from Wikipedia. Okay, and it's based off the Suzuki Swift. So the engine choices would have been 1.5 up to 2-liter engines. But in a rally car, the FIA mandates that they're 2 liters and around 3,300 horsepower. But they're going to be turbocharged in a rally car. Okay, so let's get into this model here. The wheels do look pretty accurate, except I don't see any lug nut impressions. It's depressed on the photographs, but there's no indication of 5 lug nuts holding that wheel on, so that's kind of weak. The wheels are painted. It's not molded white, it's actually black, I think, and it's painted. See, you can see it's black here. Okay, so I mentioned that because I have another one, and the paint, a couple other ones, either the paint yellows or it actually starts to come off the wheel. So that's, be mindful of that. These are old models, I think. Alright, it's got protruding door handles. It came with the antenna and the mirrors in a plastic bag taped to the bottom, so I already went ahead and, glued them in with some school glue, at least for the mirrors. I think this is just a friction fit on the antenna. Alright, you can see the roll cage. It's not too bad, actually, because it's higher than the seat backs. It has to be a little low because there's clear plastic underneath this to connect the side windows. The tampo printing looks pretty good. There's no decals here, so it's nice. There's a little black printed here for this vent be up there. Let's go around to the back this time. We got some big red plastic lenses, and that looks pretty accurate. I don't know where the backup lights would be. I don't see them on the real car. And then the exhaust is in this location. So there's, oh yeah, there's a hole there, so that's pretty cool. Interesting rib details. This does not match the photograph, but throughout the season a lot of body changes occur. This license plate would probably be accurate to the real car. Okay, well, protruding latches here for the trunk. I feel like the back end is really muted because it's white. It's filling in a lot of the crispness of the casting. It's interesting. I don't know what's going on here. I almost feel like the license plate might be part of the interior piece. See, it looks like there's a little gap there. So that's interesting. Okay, well anyways, this black wing looks pretty good. It's not super thick plastic. It's just curved, so it looks thick, but it's actually pretty thin and it's curved. On the top of it, it's got these little vortex generators, or I don't know what. I have to assume they create vortices to make it more aerodynamic. You have a vent here for bringing fresh air into the cabin, and I think this is a video camera. Now this does look like a decal. It's wrinkly, and I can see a little clear. So yeah, that's a decal up there. But down here it's a tampo. You don't see any of that clear. Oh, but now this is a decal. So interesting. This is a mix of decals and tampo printing. Oh, this is what I'm guessing. They probably did a couple different releases, right? And so the base vehicle has all the same sponsorship. But for every race, they have a different race badge and race number. So that's why this is a decal. And that's a decal. And that, because they're specific to, in this case, the Monte Carlo race. So I guess that makes sense. They're not going to tampo print, just one specific race if they're going to have the same casting represented a couple different times. Alright, some raised wiper blades. Tampo print there. Alright. We got the plastic piece here for the grill, and a little silver for the logo. Looks pretty good. These are raised and painted, these latches. Black paint in these vents, but no texture in the vents. Clear lenses and pretty nice looking headlights, pretty deep bucket, silver, 2 buckets, and there's painted silver. No texture here as well. Strange. But, well, I guess they kind of made a smart choice. If there was a texture, that Suzuki wouldn't look very crisp. It'd be textured, right? So again, that license plate I think is going to be real. And tiny Suzuki Sport printed there on the lip, which is part of the base. And the base is going to be plain. Oh no, well a lot of these bases are pretty lame, but this one's got some details. But they don't really write the model, so I printed my own label on there. It's press fit together, so there's only one press here. So I assume this license plate is like a Hot Wheels. That's a plastic tab holding the back end in. That's what I'm guessing. Pretty cool looking tire treads. Funky. Very funky looking. Okay. And CMs do roll pretty well, actually. Plastic base. Alright, so some of the CMs do have seatbelt details. Let's see if the harnesses are on this one. Maybe not. No, this one skipped out. I don't see any color on the seats. No, they're just black. Is there a spare wheel? Some have... Oh, yeah, there's a molded in spare wheel. Okay. And then there's a steering wheel. Pretty plain dash. But you can see the super tall shifter and super tall e-brake. So that's accurate to a rally car. Okay. Yeah, some roll cage by the door, so that's pretty good. Alright, so I guess it's alright. Nothing really wrong. I don't see any major paint problems, but it's there. If you look at the back of this roof, you can see a little paint blistering right there. Yeah, it's pretty common with these CM's models being so old. Okay, let's do a little comparison to a couple other CM's Suzukis that I have. And here's a crazy photo. I always like to pull up the crazy rally photos, show off some of these driving skills, or maybe the guy rolled over soon after this one. Alright, so what do I have here? I have a 2004 Suzuki Ignis. It's a 1600cc, so I think this is part of the Junior Rally Championship because it's not 2 liters. And the same one with this. This is a 2005 Suzuki Swift 1600. So Suzuki is fielding cars in not only the top tier 2 liter 300 horsepower class, but also the 1600cc class, which is obviously going to have less power. So these are all made by CMs. I like them. I like to learn about these different vehicles. I've always known about the Swift, but I never knew about these 2 cars before I got these models. So for me, it's kind of fun. It's interesting. They're running different tires. Some are running gravel. Some are running... Looks like this is maybe a gravel setup. This is a street setup just because of the low-profile tires. Or this could be snow. Maybe that's a snow setup. Oh well. But I like to give my models one last spin on their own. Alright, so I think that might be all the Suzukis that were put out by CMs as far as the castings. They probably have other liveries, which would explain the decal thing again. I don't really need to get every livery if it's the same casting. I just try to get one of each casting generally. Alright, well, that might close this chapter of CM Suzuki's. So, but I'll try to get some more CMs. I know there's still a few models that I have out there that I need to get. Okay, thanks for watching. I guess I'm going to slide on out of here.